Still, Pen, there was no reason to put 9 people in the hospital over some stupid McNugget sauce. Yeah, but you did that to get their sauce. Don't you feel kinda dumb? Right. How was the sauce, by the way? The sauce. The Szechuan sauce.
Oh, jeez, Pen. Did you have to go so far against some poor fanboys?
What are you doing, Llewellyn?
What? I mean, oh, jeez, what do you mean, Mike? I'm just being Morty to Pen's Rick.
I thought I was the Morty to your Rick, Pen.
You're a Jerry, Mike. I know it, Pen knows it, you know it. Accept it, Jerry. Get your shit together. Just get it all.
Shut the fuck up, you little brat, and go trick-or-treating already. Worst fucking fan base. Anyway, time for my review. Last year, I reviewed Satoshi Kon's psychological thriller TV series, Paranoia Agent, under the intention of showing that sometimes the most monstrous and frightening things aren't ghosts or demons, but our own society and minds. Kon's underlying message about a society that fails to take responsibility, preferring to cling to what's safe and comfortable, spoke volumes, and Paranoia Agent was a well-crafted work with astute social commentary. This year, too, I've decided to look at an anime series with less obvious supernatural elements, though, like with Paranoia Agent, they do play a part, with an emphasis on society, like most of the best horror features do. Boogiepop Phantom is a 12-episode TV show based on a series of light novels by Kohei Kadono, and produced by Madhouse. It's similar to Serial Experiments Lain in its approach to the surreal bleeding into reality, but it has a very unique approach to its narrative. That is, basically Bakano's approach. Boogiepop Phantom takes place in a modern Japanese city and largely revolves around teenage students at the Shinyo Academy, as well as some ancillary characters, though there's no obvious central focus character. Rumors around school speak of a mysterious death spirit that kills and or abducts students after a series of disappearances. The name given to the enigmatic figure is Boogiepop, and indeed Boogiepop exists, leaping from the shadows to confront and destroy creatures that mimic human forms to devour others. However, there's more going on than just Boogiepop. Apparently, a month prior to the main plot, a mysterious light leapt into the sky, and since then, teens have been developing strange abilities. And so many of these episodes revolve around the perspective of one or another of these gifted youths as they struggle with their new powers, and are targeted or manipulated, or else do the same to others. Ostensibly, the events of the series all stem from that incident a month earlier, and it comes up periodically. Often the way the plot flows is by interrupting an episode about one or two particular characters with something that doesn't become relevant until the next episode, or 2 episodes later, while reframing an event from a previous episode that helps resolve a mystery from that one. Most of what doesn't appear to make sense at first is eventually put into a greater context, and it all weaves together by the end of the series. So, as I said, in a similar vein to Bakano. But man, can it be perplexing and convoluted at any given moment until the resolutions start. I just about sprained my brain straining to decode the visual cues and narrative shifts. It doesn't help that there doesn't seem to be a guiding perspective. Although there is no true main character, There is one character that reoccurs enough to be a surrogate lead. Amateur vigilante Nagi Kirima. She doesn't appear in every episode, nor is she even that instrumental, ultimately, in the resolution of the plot involving the Manticore and Poom Poom, but Nagi Kirima has more screen time by far than Boogiepop, and is less inscrutable. You can tell that while she's prickly and distant, she actually cares for people's well-being and wants to help defeat the alien threat looming over the citizens of her town. She has a connection to events years earlier than the mysterious light, and seems to know Boogiepop, though she's not a huge fan of hers.
Please wait. I may have this face, but I'm not the Manticore.
But Mike, you might be thinking if you were actually watching this video, which statistically you aren't, but obviously you are if you can hear this. Where was I going with this? Oh, right. But Mike, you might be thinking, why is the show called Boogiepop Phantom to begin with? Well, as with most things in this show, it's complicated. Spoilers, by the way. You see, an alien life form called Echoes has been trying to communicate with humanity, and an organization called Toa captured it and tried to clone it, resulting in the creation of Manticore, the Man-Eater. After Manticore was once temporarily defeated by Echoes with the help of Boogiepop, a remnant of Echoes is split off into its own entity to save powerful youths disguised as Boogiepop, calling itself Boogiepop Phantom. The Toa group, meanwhile, has its own forces, like the villainous Snake Eye, who took the form of a cop and hunts down the special children to eliminate him, but is himself destroyed by the sister of a presumed power child who had the real power all along, who was surrounded by this girl who turns memories into glowing butterflies, and... So, yeah. Complicated. Probably because some of this stuff is in the books and not fully fleshed out in the show. And while that is a problem, strangely it doesn't make the series unwatchable. Not everything you see in the TV show is explained. There are remnants of things from the books that didn't quite get fleshed out, such as the backstory of Echoes and Manticore, the origin of Boogiepop, Nagi Kirima's continued opposition of the Toa organization, and a few other things. The final episode gives some clue as to what's going on with Kishida and is linked to both Kirima and Boogiepop, but it feels a bit rushed. However, by the final scenes, you're given most of what you needed from the main plot in thematic execution for genuine emotional payoff and catharsis. It's not a complete catharsis, but it justifies the show's approach and its social commentary. Above all things, Boogiepop is about its own running treatise on the themes of alienation, escapism, and perception. There's a bit of coming-of-age/puberty allegory going on with the changing lives of the powered teens, once blissful in childhood, now thrust into a new stage of life in a scary way, trying to stave off isolation, worried and ashamed about their bodies and emotions, looking to desperately escape reality, often despondent, feeling betrayed by both themselves and others, and finding themselves seeing things through different eyes. The entire point of Poom Poom, the secondary antagonist in the series, is that it's a manifestation of a betrayed hope, luring in the childhood spirits of teens who just want to return to simpler times, in part created by a girl who grew too quickly and yet never had a chance to experience a healthy childhood. The tragic story of Manaka Kisaragi ties together all the different plot lines as she collects the memories of all the people around her to compensate for her inexperience in life in the form of butterflies of light. Light butterflies. Now, where have I seen that before?
I know these butterflies cannot exist in this world, but I have lost all memory of the world to which they belong.
Huh. You know, that movie concludes on Halloween. Something to think about for next year. Like I said before, the show does really feel like Lane by way of Bacano, with a lot of emphasis on certain recurring elements. For instance, is this sound familiar? The first few episodes make use of a classic Japanese crosswalk tune, Torianse, a classic little ditty for children about safely crossing from one place to the next. Originally, supposedly, it's about crossing the gateway to Kawagoe Castle to celebrate a child's 7th birthday at the shrine. Back when it was composed, there was high infant mortality, so it was a momentous occasion. This fits in well with the series' theme of crossing into adulthood and leaving childhood behind. Speaking of music, it also makes use of the overture for Richard Wagner's Die Meistersinger von Nürnberg, which Boogiepop whistles just before making an entrance. The opera is kind of meta, being about master singers. I'm as of yet unfamiliar with the nuances of the work, so I'm not entirely certain what the series is going for with it, whether it has a thematic connection to the plot or is just there for whimsy, but I do enjoy the use of classical music in anime when you get it.
It must be the city's memories weaving into a melody.
The city's memories?
It's the memories of the time we spent in this city. It can be difficult if you have no way to express yourself, and sad if you have no one to listen to you. Don't you think?
You might be right, Toga.
Come to think of it, there's also a Bach piece in the episode of The Girl Who Loves the Piano that she uses for a ringtone on Ye Old Cellular Phone. Since she was planning on playing that piece in concert someday, it makes a bit more sense. But this show has a definite fetish for music, even though a good portion of its soundtrack is dissonant sound that sets the unsettling tone, in concert with the bleak sepia colors, and scenes so dark you could barely make out what's in them at times. But what I take from the show, besides its emotional core, is its philosophical leanings.
Some say that this world is nothing but an enormous hologram. There is no past or present, everything exists inside of it. However, when the human brain matches the correct frequency, it will give rise to the present.
So then the past may still exist here too.
Boogiepop Phantom is great if you want a spook, some weighty social commentary, and a thoughtful collage of experiences. In a way, we all become like Manaka Kisaragi in the end, collecting the memories of each of the characters as their stories converge. And that's some collection of butterflies. Well, that's it for this episode of Otaku Evolution. As always, I'm your host, Penguin Truth, and I hope you have a splendid and safe Halloween. Me? I'm gonna go watch the Cowboy Bebop movie with a bowl full of peanut butter cups. Until next time, see ya!
It's late. I feel bad for Toka Miyashita. She was supposed to take a test.